Klay Thompson is a perfect fit for this Dallas Mavericks team, and we've seen it pan out so far over the season. Let's talk about why. Last year, I was really down on the Mavericks. I did not think that they were going to make the playoffs, let alone make an NBA Finals run. Luka and Kyrie had become the perfect backcourt tandem. I thought the opposite. I thought both of these guys need the ball, and they're not really that great at defensive players. And while some of that is true, obviously they both do need the ball to do things with it, and they don't play great defense. What I didn't anticipate was they were one of the best closing teams in the NBA last year. The Mavericks were 23-12 in games decided by 10 points or less, which was one of the best records in the league. And that was thanks to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was a top 3 clutch player, and personally, I don't think he was number 3 or number 2. Last year, he led the league in plus minus in the clutch and was second in net rating as well in the clutch, scoring 4.2 points on 76% true shooting. I think around 60% field goal percentage. Those are just off the charts numbers late in the fourth quarter with a tight game. He's been the poster child of what it means to be clutch since he was hitting game-winning shots against the Golden State Warriors in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. Obviously, he's had an up-and-down career, but it seems he's found a solid home in Dallas alongside Luka. Once again, I didn't think this pairing was going to work, but the dribble drive penetration of Kyrie Irving combined with the isolation style of Luka, it is a Batman and Robin either way. Sometimes Kyrie's the Batman, Luka's the Robin, and vice versa. I'm a big fan of what the Mavericks have got going on right now. And in the offseason, they signed Klay Thompson, who came off quite possibly the worst year of his career. Now, of course, he has torn his ACL. He's torn his Achilles. He's in his 30s. He's played a ton of NBA games, gone deep into the playoffs. Oh my gosh, at least half a dozen times, if not more. I think that Klay is obviously in the back half of his career, but he still has opportunity to perform at I would say a high level, maybe semi-high, but so far with the Mavericks, he has done his job. And that's what Klay is now fitting himself into. It's no longer about getting up a certain amount of shots. It's no longer about guarding the best player on defense. It's about playing the role of being a spot-up three-point shooter, and he's done a great job at that. So far, the Mavericks offense perfectly plays into his style of being a spot-up shooter. Luka hits an isolation during an offensive possession. He either drives or he gets some kind of separation. He draws attention from the defense. Klay is moving around constantly. Luka can pass it to him and shoot the ball wide open. Kyrie Irving on a dribble drive penetration attracts defenders to crash inside the paint. He can dish it right back out to Klay Thompson, another wide open three. Klay is what Tim Hardaway Jr. was supposed to be last year for this Dallas Mavericks team. And maybe that's why we didn't see him in the postseason nearly as much as we thought, especially in the finals. But let's go back to Klay. So far this year, he is top 5 in the league in wide open shots per game, and he's hitting them at an over 60% clip. And he's shooting them at an over 60% clip from 3. So he's shooting 3.7 wide open threes a game. He's hitting 2.4 or 2.5 of them, which is just off the charts efficient. I think that's why he's a perfect fit for this Mavericks team. I'm never going to see them play top 5 defensive basketball. That's okay, as long as they can keep up the offensive efficiency that they have. They are not the highest efficiency scoring team in the league. They're pretty far from that, actually. But what matters is when the game gets close, they have Luka, they have Kyrie, and now they have Klay to spread the floor, create isolation basketball, and either hit him up at the top of the key with Luka, dribble drive with Kyrie, or dish out to a wide open Klay Thompson. I personally think Klay is due for a comeback year. So far, I think he's averaging around 18, 19 points a game. They did beat the Timberwolves last night from the recording of this video. Klay only had, I think, 7 points, shot 2 of 7 from the floor, but that was his worst game so far of the season. I think he's due. He's going to average around 17, 18 points like he did last year for Golden State, but I think he's going to be a much more efficient player in terms of shooting percentages and efficiency rating. Defense, we're not going to see the old Klay. I wish we could, but there are just limitations to NBA players coming out of their prime due to injury, age, games played. All of those factors go against Klay on the defensive end. I just think he's a good fit for the Mavericks because there is a specific role that they're looking for, and he fits it perfectly. So I think the Mavericks got a little bit better in the offseason. Will they get to the finals again this year? Maybe not. There were a lot of breaks that they got in the NBA playoffs last year. They'll have to play even better this season. I think Klay has the potential to put the Mavericks up one more leg, but he is older. I can't promise that. I just think he's going to have a good season right now. We'll have to see how they are looking in a couple of months to really judge whether or not they're a deep run playoff contender. That being said, I'm happy for Klay. I have always been a fan of his game. I think he plays the game right, and he's done his job to this day. So best of luck to him in the Mavericks this year. We'll see how he does. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.